Hey everyone, it's Charlene. Today we're going to be making a light up card with some products from Pear Blossom Press, as well as some products from Picket Studios. Now I've never done a video making a light up card, so this is a first for me. Let's get started. I'm starting out here with the new Garden Topper cover plate die from Picket Studios. I'm going to cut this out from an A2 sized piece of black cardstock, not worried about that missing piece there at the top, and I'll cut it out a total of 3 times. I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending for my background. I'm starting out here with some Salty Ocean, and I'm taking it up about 1/3 of the way onto my card panel. Now I'm going to blend in some chipped sapphire, which is a nice kind of navy color. And then on the top, I'm going to come in with Villainous Potion. So we're going from kind of a bright blue to a darker blue to a very deep purple. I'll make sure I get all 3 of those blended well, and now it's time for some fun lights. Here are the Pear Blossom Press Twinkle Lights. This is a 2-pack. So I'm going to pull one out. I took the battery there, and you want to make sure that the positive side of the battery is sticking up. And there you can see those 3 fun lights that are going to be twinkling on our card. So I've cut down my ink blended panel so that there's about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and I'm going to glue it to a black piece of cardstock. So I have a nice thin black border going all the way around on my card. Now I can take those 3 die cuts I did of the Garden Topper cover plate die, and I'm going to layer them up. And the reason I'm doing this is I want these flowers to have a little bit of dimension. Hopefully you guys can kind of see where I'm going with all of this. I'm hoping to create a nighttime scene where I have the black silhouette flowers against an evening sky. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you think it worked here, what I was going for. But once I have those all layered up, I'm going to go ahead and glue them along the bottom of the card. So I wasn't sure which way I wanted to do this at first. I ultimately decided I wanted to have that beautiful purple at the bottom. At first I had thought I was going to have the blue at the bottom, but I changed my mind once I was putting my card all together. Here I just have a standard single hole punch. Most people have these around somewhere in their house. And I'm going to go ahead and punch out 3 circles onto my card. And you're a little bit limited because obviously you can only go as far as the hole punch allows for the paper to go inside there. So you could also do this with small circle dies if you wanted to create kind of things that were more towards the center of the card. Since there were 3 little twinkle lights, I thought I would go ahead and cut out 3 circles and just have them be in a triangle formation that kind of looked nice on the card. Now I can glue that Garden Topper cover plate die with all of our beautiful layers. I can glue that down to the bottom front of the card. I didn't glue it at first because I thought, well, maybe I'll mess up, or maybe I'll decide that I need to get in a different spot. I don't know. But here I've got some inexpensive vellum, and I'm just cutting out 3 tiny little squares. I have the card panel turned over so that way I can add these little vellum squares and glue them to the back over the circles that we created with the hole punch. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to hide the lights behind the cards so that they're not, you're not seeing those wires or the little light piece kind of sticking out. You just want to have some vellum on there so that they sit behind the vellum, aren't noticeable until you've pushed the trigger action button that is on the Twinkle Light. And that'll make more sense here in a moment. But all you have to do is arrange your lights. You do want to make sure that your switch, which is down there on that rectangle piece, that it's facing towards the front of the card. I did this once and I had it the wrong way. So I had to take everything back off, which is why it's always a good idea to use repositionable tape. But all you have to do is tape down all of your things so that they are not in the way, so that they fit back there on the back of the card, and also so that you don't have anything that is peeking out from behind wherever your vellum pieces are. Before I decide where the button is going to go, I'm going to stamp out my sentiment as well as a little push stamp here. So for my sentiment, I'm pulling it from the Bugs and Kisses stamp. So you can see there it says flying by to say hi, and there are coordinating dies. I'm going to stamp the push stamp as well as that flying by to say hi. I'm going to stamp it on black cardstock, and we're going to do some white heat embossing. So I put down my anti-static powder tool. Now I'm going to stamp both of those out with some embossing ink, and then I can use my bright white opaque embossing powder, just making sure to get some good coverage on there. And once I have it where I like it, I'm going to come in with my heat gun and go ahead and melt everything. I kind of do a quick little melt, and once it starts to melt, and then I pull away, and then I go back over it a little bit a second time. Using the coordinating die to cut out the sentiment, and then I'm just using a small circle die that I happen to have in my stash to cut out the push button. You could also stamp that directly on your card, but I decided to do it as kind of a little button here for people to push. So I'm gluing it to the top left-hand corner here, just directly to the card base. Whereas the sentiment, I went ahead and cut out 2 extras and glued it of the die cut and glued it behind there just to give the sentiment a little bit more depth. And that I'm going to place down in the lower third of the card. Next, I'm going to bring in some foam tape, and this is what's going to allow us to hide all of those electronics. I've got some foam tape here. I'm going to start by putting it on one edge of the card because I know I have put my little button far enough in that I'd be able to put the foam tape on the top and bottom, and then I'm applying it to each side. I do cut out a little bit of a notch here, you can see on one of the pieces, and that's in order to fit around the battery, because you want your end product, you want everything to be level, so that way when you add this to a card base, you're not going to have any kind of lumpy areas to your card. You want everything to be balanced and supported. And if you are working with a lighter cardstock, I didn't have this issue because I was working with black cardstock. You also want to be conscious of whether or not the light is going to bleed through your card. So you could also put foam tape around the areas where your little light bulb is at. So that way you make sure you're getting that light exactly where you want it. So you can see I also added a piece of double-sided tape to the back of the area where the button and the battery are, and that's so that once I push this down on top of the card, it will hold that piece in place and it won't be wiggling around back in there. So I took off the release tape from there as well as along the top line, just making sure to secure it, and then I can remove all the rest of the release tape and lay it down over the rest of the card. I'm going to add in a little bit of splatter. I probably could have left it how it was, but I really wanted some more sparkle because hopefully you guys can tell I was going for lightning bugs here. My husband came by and he said, "Why are you making Halloween cards?" So I don't think it looks like a Halloween card, but you guys let me know down in the comments if you got the concept that these were lightning bugs. You could use these fun lights to create all kinds of different cards, whether it's fireflies or birthday candles or sun rays, and you're going to see a lot of fun different ideas on today's YouTube Hop. So here's the finished card here. I think it's really fun with the twinkle lights going there. Be sure to check the description down below to find out what you need to do in order to enter this fun video hop for a chance to win. Here's the finished card, guys. I hope you picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that I can continue to bring you more crafty content in the future. Until next time, happy crafting.